Yo, what is up? my people. Appreciate the follows out there. Thank y'all. Thank you. Alright. Tonight, all we gotta do is make a pretty diagram that I can follow along later. So for the last year, I'm working on this project a bit, and I really want to get to start doing the fun stuff. But in order to do the fun stuff, we gotta take care of the housekeeping first. So, you don't build a house without a blueprint. You shouldn't write code without a blueprint. So what's nice is Unreal Engine comes with some stuff out of the box for just making a nice clean framework. Aha. Oh, where's my pretty diagram? Aha, here we go. Nope. Turn documenting. Oh, there it is. Game flow overview. So, if we open up this diagram, so there's two typical paths. There's either standalone or editor. If we're going to focus on this one over here. So whenever you boot up a game that's running the Unreal Engine, you got some initialization that happens. So then it creates the game instance. So the game instance is this nice little class that takes all of your core logic and bundles it up nice and neat for you. So if you have any kind of, in our case, for our game, you have any kind of logic that needs to talk to an external API, that's where you kind of want to put that stuff. 1 second. Where was I? Okay, so we're going to create our session. We're going to start up the actual world that you're in. So game mode is where we're going to stick all of the fun things like the current modifiers, the current score, how long the round should be. And then it'll also handle talking to all of our little objects like the player, our enemies, our spawners, all that fun stuff. But again, we want to start by mapping some of this out. So there's a tool that I like to use. It just kind of lets you draw all this stuff out. And I've kind of got some of this done, but I mainly want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so, hey, what's up, Marquise? Alright, so we've got getting the leaderboard information. That's good to have that mapped out. Getting the game state, so that'll tell us what the current leaderboard is and the current mods for the day. So we've got our delegate for firing off getting the user. So let us also get the user's most recent high score. That'll be nice to display for them. And also some pertinent information as far as who they are. What you working on, Marquise? And then, yes, this one's going to be very important, checking the network. So I haven't quite figured out how I want to do this yet. I haven't really dabbled too much into Unreal Engine's networking code, but we definitely want to make sure that if the player drops connection at any point, that we find a way to handle that gracefully. Because nothing worse than getting the top score for the day and then not being able to submit it later. So game mode, user off. So I just have notes in here for telling me where this message actually needs to go once this event fires. So if you notice up above in the game instance, we have some events that need to fire on the game mode and game state. So game state, think of that as the version. Oh, Marquise, you gotta stop being a hero, bro. I know. Oh, good luck to you, sir. Don't stay up too late. Let's see. Yes, so basically this needs to trickle down. So from the game instance, you go to the game mode, you go to the game state. So this is going to take care of the current level information, scoring, things like that. Player controller is the level below that, which is input in the UI. And then pawn. So pawn, think of that as your actual character, not necessarily the player itself. The player is split up into two pieces, a pawn and a controller. So this actually comes from, so the easiest way to explain this would be in Unreal Tournament, if you're familiar with that, or any kind of arena shooter. The controller is going to handle all the input, and the pawn is the character that's receiving that input. So if you jumped into a tank, for example, you're not necessarily sending that input to the player character anymore. You're sending it to the tank. The player gets out of the tank, and they have their little 3D model again. You want that input to go to there. So that's the concept of a pawn and a player controller. Obviously UI. Interfaces. So interfaces are these really cool collection of functions that you can use to pass information between objects. I actually think I did a pretty good job last time I mapped some of this out. So I think our next step would be, I think we'll come back to this, but I feel good enough about this for now to start pulling some of this information in. So let's jump over to Unreal. All right. Alright, so now that we're in Unreal, let's pull up okay, so let's think. crash already? It's a little early in the evening for that. Okay. But you know what? It would be fun to actually see if we could find out that network connection. So let's see. Let's start with game instance. No, game mode is probably the best place to start. Let's start poking around. Subsystems. What do we have access to? Okay, let's start with EOS subsystem. It's a good place to start, I think. So this is the Epic Online Services. This is how the user logs in. What do we got? Nope. It's connected. Oh, that'd be too easy. Let's try this a different way. Oh. So we do has active Wi-Fi connection. Unfortunately, that looks like that might be mobile only. So that's not going to help us. Well, I have an idea. It seems a little bit wasteful though. So what I could do is just simply make an HTTP request every few seconds. Well, actually, now that I think about it, let's do some pseudocode here. Let's go over here off the beaten path. Okay, so we'll get a reference to our plugin called VARES. So VARES is a plugin that lets you make HTTP requests for Unreal. Okay. So I'll just use a dummy node real quick. So inside of that, we'll make a simple request. Make a note here. Darn, I used to let you make notes on these. I did not do that anymore. There we go. So we'll make a call to health endpoint. So I did recently build a health endpoint on the API. So I could easily just make a call there. Plus, actually, now that I think about it, that's probably better, because if we ever see that the API for this game is down for any reason, we definitely want to let the player know and softly handle that, whether that's send them back to the main menu or something like that. So that's actually, now that I think about it, this probably is going to end up being what I end up doing. So we'll make a call to the health endpoint. We'll see it's healthy. Meaning, is everything working like we think it should over there? Do another reroute. So if it is, and then if it's not. So probably over here on the handle side, it'll probably be a little bit different based on what level we're in or what stage of gameplay we're in. we'll need to probably revisit this at a later date. Probably going to do nothing. If there's nothing wrong with our network connection, we can continue as is without necessarily doing anything. No news is good news in this case. What's up, Boston? Alright, so I think that's enough for us to get started here. And what's nice about this visual scripting language is I don't actually need to write any code. I can do this all right here to start, and then depending on what's going on, just change it later. So I'm going to leave my little pseudocode over here for right now. Actually, what's fun is I can put this in a comment. So sudo for health check or for network check. And then I think, what is it? It's been a while since I've done this. Find, there we go. So I can say health check, or sorry, what did I say? Network check. I can say network, and it will actually take me right back to this comment. So now the real trick is, am I going to remember to delete this comment later? Because I don't think there's that overhead for having these, but you know, got to keep your code clean, you know? All right, next step. Where on earth am I going to find a API that is not going to yell at me for making a bunch of requests? To the GitHub! At least for now. Alright. Let's see. Public API. All I really need... Actually, did I ship the health check? I don't think I did. We'll do that later. Here we go. Here's always a fun one I like to use. I can has dad joke. Alright, what's our dad joke for the evening? Don't trust atoms. They make up everything. I'm not gonna lie, these do kind of make me chuckle every now and again. So there you go, chat. I can has dad joke. I'm gonna trust y'all with this power. Do not abuse it. So bad. Alright, one more. A red and a blue ship have just collided in the Caribbean. Apparently the survivors are marooned. Boo! Boo! That hurts. It hurts so much. Okay. I hate it. Okay, here we go. Alright. Cool. So we're gonna come back to this later. Let's hop back over to Unreal. They are marooned. It's so bad. So bad. Anybody in chat got a good dad joke for the group this evening? Oh, I just realized I'm not seeing the YouTube chat over here. Sorry, YouTubes. I love you guys too. I promise. Well. Why not actually broadcasting YouTube? That would be funny. Why do Java developers wear glasses? Hold on. I got this. Hold on. Why do Java developers wear glasses? Because they... It's right there. No, it's right there. No. Come on, come on, come on. I give up. Why do Java developers wear glasses? Oh, man. I have a feeling this is going to hurt my soul. It's just going to make me want to cry. Ah, boo, because they don't see sharp. Ah, that's absolutely terrible. No. Oh, I cry. I cry. That's... Oh, man. Well played. Well played. Well played, my good friend. That's a good one. That's a good one. Guess they can't see sharp. Oh, man. There you go. Here's the URL. I knight the keeper of the dad joke website. Use your powers for good, not evil. I expect a fully functioning dad joke chatbot by the end of the week from somebody. Okie dokie. Gonna make the health check. What is going on here? Alright, so back to Unreal. So let's do this. Okay, so we're gonna need a timer handle eventually, but for now, we're gonna use good old begin play. So, like begin play says, I'll delegate that task. Spoken like a true leader. Well done, boss. Well done. Alright, so we're gonna do, I believe VA REST has a subsystem. Aha. Okay, so then we're gonna do make request. Nope, no we're not. Aha, call URL. Alright. We're gonna do JSON. Oh, not simple enough. Icon has dadjoke.com. Okay. And it looks like it has a callback, so it means when this fires, it's going to give you something back. So we're going to say on get dad joke. Whereas I never thought I'd write in code before. But you know, here I am. I'm curious, does anyone have an API they always go to when they're trying to stub stuff out or anything like that? This is one of mine. I don't know. You gotta have a little humor in your day. You gotta laugh at work, you know? If you're not having fun, what are you doing? Okay, response contact as string. No, we do not want to cache. I want to print string. Okay, so this is the game mode game. Gotta check that out. Source control. Always use source control. You gotta do it. I've actually already blown up this project once. I was about a month ago. I had all of the game content for this stored on a local Linux server, and unbeknownst to me, because I was using Ubuntu desktop, shout out the Linux community, I clicked yes on a software update. And then 5 minutes later, my source control server just would not respond. I couldn't log in, couldn't check anything out, couldn't check anything back in. It was dead. Now I have a cloud server with backups. Yeah. Learning things the hard way. I cried. Luckily, I didn't lose any of the project because, you know, I had a local copy. But what if my computer caught fire? What if I spilled water on it? What if one of the seals, because it's a liquid cooled PC, what if one of the seals broke? What if the CPU just, you know, combusted? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Alright. So we're in the menu level, so we need to hop over to the gameplay level. Make sure world settings are set to BP game mode game. We'll save that, which means we'll check it out with source control. And we'll click play. Oop. That didn't look right. Nope. Sure not. That's an HTML file. We don't know what to do with that. Content type JSON. That's right. It's a GET request. Please hold. Well. It's definitely set to JSON. Curious. Should definitely not be giving me. I bet I'm missing something important. HTML response, text plain response. There we go. I see. It is going to default to returning something unless I set it. Okay, so let's try. Where did my mouse go? Hello? My mouse is doing weird things. Oh, because I still have the game running. You know, that'll do it. Okay, content type. Let's see what that does. Set the binary. Nope. This is alright. We're just going to pick a different API. Yeah, nope. We're not going to keep struggling with that. Let's probably something in the VA-REST plugin itself. I typically do that stuff via C++ and not Blueprint, but for the sake of simplicity and just stubbing this health checkout, we are going to just do that way. Another public API, let's see. Let's get some weather data. Oh, that looks complicated. I need something simple now. Let's see. There we go. Weather API. There we go. What do we got? Charlotte. I'm just gonna assume that that's right. Actually, let's see. If I do Charlotte, let's see. Sure, I'll just pretend it's right. How about that? Alright, so take this. We will then drop it in Unreal. Back in our little script. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little sad. I can ask Jaratope was being a little weird. Hey! There's some JSON data. Woo! Alright. So then we're gonna go over here. Hit reroute. Actually, no. Print string. Actually, what does this return if it fails? That's going to be part of our process here. So then let's do something incorrect. Let's say so our website, we'll just say buy game, because that should give us a 404 page. And we'll click start. Did that actually spit out? Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Response 404. That's what we wanted. So do I have a code? Response code of some kind I can get off of this? Mouse, why you do? Get response code. I have a feeling in C++, this part where we're like trying to figure out if it made the request successfully or not will be easier. For now, again, we're just trying to step this out and make sure this process works. So, say equal. We'll do not equal. is not equal to 404. Oh no, Visual Studio is trying to load. I double clicked. Don't do it. You're gonna kill my processor. Visual Studio, nobody asked for your help. Go away. I think we're safe. 4, oh. Hello? Oh. Alright. They uninitiated. 404 means not found. There's a whole list of numbers that a server will send back to your web browser in the event that something happens or doesn't happen. 404 is one of those codes. It means I don't know what you're talking about or where you're trying to go. I really need my mouse to like come back on the screen. I don't know why it's doing this. Be nice to me, mouse. Alright, thank you. You know it's bad when your computer's fighting against you. Alright. I guess we gotta change the name of this function. Rest in peace. Okay. It's not equal to 404. Actually, no. I can already tell I'm going to get confused. If it's equal to 404, that's definitely not going to work. Sticking a boolean in there. You know what? Fine. We're going to do it this way. It's not equal to 404, meaning did we reach the network? Because again, if you don't have a network connection, trying to make a call out to an external API just isn't going to work. Do nada. We good. And I always like to do funny strings when I'm testing. Don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. If you know, you know. Alright, so we'll compile that out. And we'll test it. Hey, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. Well done. Okay, so then if we go back in here, and we put the correct string in its place. And for now, we will, again, what is going on with my mouse cursor today? Makes it just disappear randomly. Oh, that's weird. So clicking off and clicking back. Oh, nope. Is it a blueprint graph problem? I don't know, man. Weird. Okay. Oh, gotta change that text. Okay, so this is gonna become good. Alright, so. Hey, alright, cool. So now we have a way, if we go back to our pseudocode up here up top. So we make a call, we check, and then we have our two paths. Alright, now, comes decision time. So, I think I'm going to leave this in each of the game modes. So right now we only really have two maps, or two levels in this game. We have the main menu, and then we have the gameplay map. There might be more later on, but I think honestly 2 is probably going to be enough. So benefits of sticking it, if we go back up to our Unreal Engine graph, the game flow overview. So we gotta do like a cost benefit analysis here, more or less. So if we leave it in the game mode, which is all the way down here, we can't really bubble that back up to say the game instance. Now, I'm not necessarily, I don't mind the idea of making it game mode dependent, because the nice thing about splitting up our game modes between the menu and the gameplay is we can take different action based on that. So it makes things a little easier. Now the same thing could be said for putting in the game instance. So what probably is going to come down to for me though is the concept of dry, which means do not repeat yourself. So if I don't have to write the same code twice, why would I? Smarter, not harder. All right. The next piece, the timer, right. Okay, so only doing this once every time you load a level is not going to be beneficial. We're going to need this to fire, that's a good question, okay. This is where the concept of scale comes into play. Oh boy. Time to do some Googling. I need to know, honestly, how many calls I need to make regularly for this. So let me kind of share this with the rest of the room. So every game client, meaning every time someone loads up this game, that means it's going to be making a call initially, log the user in and do all that kind of stuff. When you start putting API calls on a timer and hitting an API every so often, and more than 5 people, more than 100 people, possibly, hopefully more than 10,000 people are going to be doing that on some sort of interval, you got to think about that. Now, luckily, we're using a service for this game called Railway, which is a serverless hosting platform. So I'm not too worried about as far as being able to handle all that traffic. It's more, do I want to pay for all that traffic? I don't like the idea of hitting this open API for weather data. I don't feel like that's fair, because then that's their problem to deal with, not mine. But ultimately, some form of a timer is going to have to be set. So let's do some quick searching and find out what is the recommended interval. To the Google machine. What is the recommended interval for checking for network connection? Let's add API in the end. Alright, so good old Stack Overflow saves the day. Okay. Let's see. Yep, you are correct. So this is not just saying the interval. This is just more saying when. I need to know how often. Yep, network reachability. Okay. So this one's saying a minute. Designed for relay task controls. How long tasks wait for additional data? How long to wait for complete? Give Well, this is a little bit more specific. This is more to building apps for Apple and iOS. I want something more broad. This one's saying a minute. Let's try adding game development to the search. Alright, so we got Unity. It's a little better. Oof. You know what, let's stick for 30 seconds for now. I'm gonna parameterize it anyway, and then if it comes to be a problem later on down the road, then I think we update it. Oof. Yeah, this is probably the biggest downside of this approach is at scale. I don't think it's really gonna work well. But that's a problem for future me. Hey, I cried. Matter of fact, we're just gonna go stick that over here in our comments. Check every 30. Bad idea at scale. To the future, that's different. Hey, whoa. What you mean? What you mean is different? That's the same thing. That's not fair. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that attitude. I need positivity. Do you have a suggestion? I'm all for suggestions. Don't ever be afraid to drop a suggestion in the chat. I'll take it. I'm gonna take all the help I can get. I'm trying to ship this thing, you know? Alright. Let's get this timer set, and then I think that's gonna be it for tonight, you know? Okay. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Timers in Unreal make my head hurt. Oh man. It's a whole thing to get something to happen on a timer. And one of these days I'm gonna remember how to do it without having to go back to the docs. But today is not that day. Alright. Unreal Engine timer fly handle. That's all I remember. Okay. Okay, see, this is the part that always trips me up. I think wait. Okay. I don't feel like it's this easy. If it is, they updated this, and that's the story that I'm sticking to. Okay, here we go. I want to say that time variable in there is a lie. I want to say that's how often the timer fires. So it's more like a countdown. No. Okay. Timer handle. So it all starts with this timer handle. And I think that's personally a terrible name. Well, no. I know why it's called a handle, because that's C++, but if you know nothing about C++, it's a terrible, terrible name. So It's just your timer object. It's the thing that keeps track of how much time's remaining in your timer, did the timer go off, all those things. Okay. My mouse. Stop it. Why do you keep doing this? Okay. So we're going to move that off of there because we don't need it on begin play anymore. It really is. Naming something is really the true skill of any programmer. I think, honestly, naming conventions, function names. You know, there's normally two schools of thought, right? There's like the comment heavy versus the plain English. I feel like I fall somewhere in the middle, where I'm, like, comments where it makes sense, where it's complex, but at the same time, someone should be able to come behind you and like understand what you wrote, at least at a base level, by looking at it. That's my hot take. That's where I'm at with it. Okay. Set timer by function name. Timer. See? What? What the what? Set timer by function name. What does this take in? Timer handle string. What? Okay, now I'm more confused. Why does that not accept that? Oh, it returns a handle. Oh. What? I'm so confused. So why is it called set timer? It should be called set timer handle. You know what? I'm just gonna let it go. We're here now. Told y'all. This one don't make no sense to me. Okay, so this time variable, I believe. I really need my mouse to get it together today. Okay. What? Is this trying to capture the cursor? Is that what's going on? Please hold. There. Done. Are you gonna behave now? Ah, OBS was making this difficult for me. Okay. We got it. Okay, so I believe this should happen if I say 5. This is gonna happen every 5 seconds, and I'm gonna click start. So, and then function name. Can I give it an event name? No, I cannot. Okay, can I call this? Nope, because that's a delegate. That is not going to work. What other options do I have? There we go, set timer by event. Really? Did you really just do the thing again? Well, this is annoying. Okay, 30 seconds. I want to loop it, yes. And then the event. We're gonna drag. Whoa. Create an event. What? Huh? Custom. Oh, custom event, not create event. I knew that. There we go. Oh, I gotta clean this up. Okay, and then delete those nodes. All right, so let's walk through what we did. Okay. Hello. Oh my gosh, stupid mouse. Okay. Alright, so in play we're going to set a timer by event. So every 30 seconds, this timer is going to loop and fire call health endpoint. And then it's going to get some weather data, and it's going to give us a yes or no if it got that data or not. So, here goes nothing. Other stuff out of the way for us, just so we have some room. Alright. So, now we're going to take advantage of Unreal Engine's visual debugging. So I'm going to go over here, go to this debug object menu, and we're going to select it. So now we should see logic come through. That's interesting. Why is it not simulating? Hello? I'm going to cut this down to 5. Alright, there's the first column. You saw that white line glow. And there's the next one. Okay, so every 5 seconds it's making that call. And yeah. Nice. So I'll let you guys see that in the viewport. So if you watch the top left there, there's our first one. And there's our second one. Nice. And our third one. Cool. Now let's actually see how processor intensive this is. So I'm going to do stat unit. Come on. Oh, I'm in the editor. I gotta be in the editor window for this. Stat unit graph. So what I'm looking at is these pretty colors on this graph and these numbers on the right. So every game engine basically does two things. It calculates and it draws. So that green one at the top here, on the top of the graph there, is your frame time. So that basically means how long does it take your GPU and CPU working together to draw one frame. So most games are these days are 60 frames a second. So that means 60 times a second your game is drawing everything on screen. Now it's way more complicated than that, but we're going to talk about it at a high level. So, and frame is typically, again, super high level here, typically made up of your game thread and your draw thread. Your game thread is all the logic that your computer has to compute in that frame, and your draw thread is how much information your GPU needs to draw in a frame. Your game thread also is responsible for collecting all the information of what your GPU needs to draw and hands it off. So it starts with your CPU, some information gets handed off to your GPU, GPU draws all the things, and all of that time together typically makes up your frame. Now, the RHIT, the GPU time, dynamic res, that's other information we'll get into today. But I mainly just wanted to make sure that I wasn't putting a ton of stress every time that we made an API call. And you can kind of see the graph there on the left jump a little bit when we get that data back, but it's not doing a big jump, which is what I was looking for. So you might think, well, Simon, all you've got is some checkerboard and some clouds. Why are you worried about your CPU and GPU? Well, because every little penny adds up. Every little bit of extra computing that I'm sending and making the game do is going to eventually add up when we get to a full-fledged game where we've got, you know, AI and characters and bullets and all these things flying around. So just wanted to keep an eye on it. All right, well, honestly, that's going to do it for me tonight with this little, just getting this little pseudocode out and trying out the stream. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight, and our next broadcast will be on Thursday, I believe. So, adios.